So we move on today after yesterday's review, and you're still going to be using those methods, those techniques to solve equations. So they're your tools. Now we're actually going to use the tools to actually solve problems. Okay, and worded problems has been a lot of you. It's your downfall. So you really need to put some work in to being able to do these worded problems. Okay, you're going to get practice solving the equations today. But the goal of today's class is for you to emerge with an understanding of how to form the equations. Forming the equations is the key. You need to form the equations. Yes, there's other shortcut ways to do them, especially with some of the easier problems you can do in your head, but you need to be able to practice forming the equation because you're building this skill to use with much harder type of problems later on, problems with decimal answers, etc. Okay, so today's goal is to understand how to form the equation. So we'll look at a couple of examples and just work through them, and you can see how I go about forming the equations. So for every single problem we have, we need 2 bits of information. Okay, so we need to find 2 equations. So let's read through the information. So first of all, we read it. Ash received better results for his maths test than for English. If the sum of the 2 marks is 164 and the difference is 22, calculate the mark for each subject. So we're just going to use, we can use M and E. I'm going to use X for maths and Y for English. And I'm going to write it down. I'm not going to keep it in my head because if I forget and get it mixed up, I'm going to answer the wrong answer. Okay, so I'll just note this on the side. X is maths, Y is English. So the first bit of information is the sum. The sum of the 2 results is 164. So that means his maths score plus his English score equals 164. So that's what a sum is. A sum is just adding them together. So his maths score, X is his maths score, Y is his English score. His maths score plus his English score equals 164, and we have one equation. Now the next bit of information is the difference is 22. The difference is 22. Do we go X minus Y or Y minus X? Well, up here, he got better results for his maths test. So if we go maths minus English, we'll get a positive answer because maths is higher than English. If we go English minus maths, it'll be a negative answer. So we need to go maths, which is X, minus English equals 22. Okay, so we've got our 2 equations. Maths minus English is 22, the difference. We know the maths goes first because the maths result is highest. So there's sort of 3 bits of information here. Maths plus English is 164. So we've got equation 1 and we've got equation 2. Now we could subtract them and get rid of the x's. And we're subtracting a negative. The easiest thing is that these signs are different. They've all got 1s. So these signs are different. So we're going to add them. So we're going to go equation 1 plus equation 2. X plus X is 2x. Okay, X plus X, 2x. Y plus negative Y cancels out and there's nothing. So we eliminated the Y, so we're using the elimination method here. And 164 plus 22 is 186. Okay, so we don't even need to really rename that equation because we've eliminated there. We're not going to use it again, so we don't need to name that one. We're just going to divide by 2 to get the x on its own. Divide by 2, so x equals 93. Half of 186 is 93. Okay, so that's the maths score. So the English score, we've got, let's get a bit of room. So equation 1 tells us that 93 plus y equals 164. So I'm just going to subtract the 93 from the 164, and I'm going to get 64 to 107, so I'm going to get y is 71. And we just check that. The difference is 22, so 93 minus 71 is 22, so we know we got it right. So now we answer the question. Very important you answer the question. So maths was 93, English was 71. Okay, that's our answer to the question. You need to make sure you're answering the questions. Okay, so they were reasonably easy to form, those equations. Once we got the equations, we're just using one of the methods, in this case the elimination method. Okay, so we'll look at another example. Once again, just the key to it is watch how I form the equation. So we have to read through first. So to finish a project, Jen buys a total of 25 nuts and bolts. Okay, just 25 nuts and bolts altogether. If each nut cost 12 cents and each bolt cost 25 cents, and the total purchase price is $4.30, how many nuts and bolts did she buy? So the first bit of information is she bought a total of 25. So here, X is going to represent the nuts. I could use N and B, but I'm not. I'm just going to get into the practice of using X and Y. B is going to represent the bolts. Just make a little note of that on the side. And she bought a total of 25. So X plus Y equals 25. That's our first equation. She bought 25 nuts and bolts. So add them together, we get 25. Now the next bit is to do with the price. Here, for 12 cents, 25 cents, and this is in dollars. We're going to have to choose to work in dollars or in cents. So we're going to have to convert one, and I'm going to work in cents because it gets rid of decimals. So the nuts, which is X, cost 12 cents. So I'm going to go 12X. 12. So if there's one nut, it costs 12 cents. If there's two nuts, it's 12 times 2, which is 24 cents. If there's 5 nuts, it's 12 times 5, which is 60 cents. Okay, so this gives us the price, total price of the nuts. And the bolts are 25 cents, similar sort of thing, 25Y, and that's going to equal 430. We're converting the dollars to cents, so $4.30 is 430 cents. Got equation 1 and we've got equation 2, they're both in that form, so we're going to use elimination. No, we're not. We're going to do it slightly differently. Okay, so we could use elimination. What we could do is we could multiply this equation by 12, and then we'd get equation 3, and we would do equation 3 minus, or equation 2 minus equation 3. We could do it that way. We're not going to. I'm going to recognise what I can do here is I can make equation 1, I'm going to minus the X. So I'm going to go Y equals 25 minus X. I'm just changing around. I'm minusing the X from this side, I just have to minus it from that side. So now I'm going to substitute. So I'm going to go, equation 2 is going to tell me 12X plus 25 times 25 minus X. Okay, instead of Y, I'm just putting in 25 minus X, substitution, equals 430. So, I've got 12X plus, so 25 times 25 is 625, minus 25x equals 430. Okay, and we just keep going up here. So normally underneath, but we're running out of room. 12x minus 25x is minus 13x. It's not actually going to end up being any easier. It's going to, because yeah. Anyway, 430. So So we're going to, sorry, let's just do one step at a time instead of two steps. So minus 13x plus 625 equals 430. So now I'm minus the 625 and the same to the other side. So I get minus 13x equals, so 430 minus 625 is minus 195. And I divide by minus 13, and I divide by minus 13, and I get x equals minus 195 divided by negative 3, and that equals positive 65. So there were 65 nuts, and we have done something wrong, because we should have divided by 13 here. So let's just go back. Sorry about that. I'm sure you picked that up as I was doing it. We're dividing by 13, so we've got 195 divided by, or negative 195 divided by negative 13, and we get 15. So x equals 15 nuts. Y equals 25 minus x, which is 15, equals 10 volts. So 15 nuts and 10 volts. 5 extra nuts. I'm not sure what she's going to do with them, but anyway. Okay, so 15 nuts and 10 volts, and that's our answer to the question. Now I'm just going to redo this question the other way. So that's using substitution. As it turned out, it didn't seem to really work out that much easier. So let's go back. I'm just going to get my eraser out. And I'm going to go and redo this one. So you can pause that and copy that down if you want. And I encourage you to do that. So that's one method. Now we're going to look at the other method. So you've got both methods. So the equations are going to stay the same. All we're doing is our working out. It's different. And I actually think the elimination method is going to work out slightly easier. But well, I'll just a hunch that one is. So here, now we're going to do elimination method. So to do elimination method, I'm going to go equation 1 times 12. So then I get 12x plus 12y, everything here multiplied by 12, equals 25 times 12, 300 exactly. And we're going to call that equation 3. Okay, so now we've got a 12x here and a 12x there. We can subtract them and eliminate. So I'm going to go, 2's got the bigger numbers, so I'll go 2 minus 3. 12x minus 12x is nothing. 25y minus 12y is 13y. 430 minus 300 is 130. So we divide by 13. And divide by 13 to get y equals 10. And then equation 1 tells us that x plus y equals 10 equals 25. And so we get x equals 15. So once again, 15 nuts and 10 volts. So the elimination method is actually easier. A little bit easier. Okay, and I think it generally is. So, just to finish today, exercise 4.5, you can go back and pause those videos to get the bits that you need to copy down into your book. The two examples were out of the textbook, pages 127 and 128. Exercise 4.5 is on page 129, and you're doing the tick sheet questions. I'm on Teams chat if you need any help. I'll catch you next time.